All right, I'm going to, today is August 20th, the time is 7:04 PM, and I'm calling the Ag Commission meeting to start. I'm going to review the prior minutes. We did not have a meeting last month. Do you have the minutes for June?
No, so these are just the minutes for March and April.
Okay.
I don't know about May and June.
Okay.
So I'm gonna talk to Hank about those. He's not here tonight.
No, not tonight. He wasn't able to make it.
But so this is a start.
Okay, that's okay. I'm going to skip over to discussing on attending the Lakeville Music and Arts Festival. So we are going to have a booth there. I was wondering, Paul, if I can borrow your tent, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. And I was wondering if we could have a show of hands on who would be interested in attending.
I think I can be around that day. I'll get it off.
Okay, I can definitely be there to set up the tables and so on, and be there for a while. It depends on how much I can actually get away from the family on working on the cranberry bogs on that Saturday.
It's pretty busy.
I have to man the historical commission one inside, so I
Okay,
can't really free myself out.
all right, I know Jared's gonna be there as well.
Yeah, I plan on being there.
All right.
Are we gonna get to have some, a goat, a specific goat?
2 goats now.
2 goats?
Yeah, 2 goats are
Really?
many.
He's expanding,
Awesome.
in the miniature horse.
Yep.
What day is it?
That is,
October, the first Saturday in
Saturday
the
October.
5th.
A bit,
October 5th?
yeah.
Okay. That's not Columbus weekend, that's the following weekend, right?
Right.
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 Okay. Yeah, I should be able to help out.
that'd be great, thank you. We're actually, Jared and I actually talked to Nancy Kitchen too, about possibly 4-H sharing the booth with us, the 4-H Horse Club.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, and she was very interested on the idea of it.
That'd be
Have some of the, kids there, and they're gonna print up some pamphlets and see if they can get some interest on membership. Okay,
I was gonna ask too, if the AgCom wants to create a scarecrow for the.
for the competition?
Yeah, and it's not even a competition really, it's just sort of a
Attitude
display.
experts.
An exhibit of artfully crafted scarecrows. But just an idea, Paul made a great one year.
That was Tracy, I just took credit for it.
Oh, it was just,
It was a team effort.
it was fun, so, something to
Didn't you pose
consider.
so she could do it? Yeah.
Yeah, we can make them look like a farmer.
Good.
Yeah. All right. The next on the agenda is the right to farm bylaw. We spoke on this back in June, and we discussed on keeping it the same as the state's right to farm bylaw, with the exception of the time limit of the notification being signed by the potential buyer of property or renter. In the state law, they have to turn that into the town hall in 20 days. And we decided to make it 30, and that is the only difference. I have a printed out version of the possible Lakeville right to farm bylaw. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, for enough copies. So that is actually the only change that we made from the state law.
Has everybody talked to the Board of Selectmen about it yet?
No, not yet. I need to approach him on it. And I imagine we probably, like last time, we need to get the number of signatures to get it on the ballot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll have to,
Is there a deadline for that?
yes, there is. I didn't have time to approach the town hall to find out what the deadline is for the next meeting. But I will be able to do so next Monday. Then, once I get that information and the number of signatures, then I'll reach out to you guys and we'll start knocking on doors, I guess. See if we can get the number of signatures to get this on the ballot.
You're looking at it as a referendum for a town election,
Yeah.
not a town meeting vote?
Or town meeting.
Well, it's the next town meeting, when is the next big town meeting? What's that?
September.
And there's usually one in the fall, right?
Yeah,
there's
sometime in the
one in the
fall.
fall.
Should be November.
Should be November.
Okay.
Thank you.
That would give us time.
Do we have any comments? Okay. So the next on the agenda is the farmer's market.
Farmers market.
Yeah.
Okay. Last month, I got copies of registration forms that Karen Blair from the Middleborough Farmers Market had on file from people who had applied to be part of her market in the last couple of years. I went through them and there's probably about 18 different potential vendors here. I could only identify maybe 8 or 10 of them by something that was online or by a description of their product, and some of them were just really, they just have a name and they don't tell you what their product is, what they're farming. So she had provided us with a copy of a registration form, and then she has a second page that if it's a farming, something farmed, she has, what is it that you grow or provide. And I just thought, maybe for next month, I could try to put together a registration form for potential vendors that has information that I think makes sense. She has vendor name, farm name, your address, your contact information. Then she lists the fees that she would like, that she asked for a 15 by 15 foot space. You could do it weekly and buy a space each week, or you could do it by the season. And she charged $18 a week or $275 for the season, and that was for a 4-hour day. And she has a list of rules about being a member of the farmers market. Information as to how to make the payment, who to address it to, who to make it out to, that sort of thing. So if that seems like a good idea, I'll look at her rules too. I can email these to you guys,
Yeah, I guess,
the list of rules and regulations.
well, it's great to get the information, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Joan has also provided me with the local guide that lists a lot of farmers and growers in the region. So I'll look through and see some of those that are most local. I didn't know if we had any ideas about what we thought might be the best day of the week.
And I guess it
set up.
also depends on location too. I know
Yeah.
the Lakeville Library said to be okay with it, and that'd be like on a Sunday, if we use their grounds.
The Lakeville Library would consider it, as long as
Consider
it
it.
didn't interfere with anything else, but the issue at the library was gonna be the possibility of parking and overflow parking because of the use, the bathrooms or facilities that we would have to rent to have dropped off would have to be up further by the old town hall, and then there was a concern with the traffic flow there. I thought that the latest option that I remember was the possibility of something here at Ted Williams Camp.
Yep.
Yep.
What did the park commission say about locations?
I wrote down what Because I think is that coming up right after this anyway? As part
Oh,
of
well, we
the
could just actually
project?
join it all together.
Push it all together.
Yeah.
So, Dave and I went to their meeting on to the Park Commission's meeting on August 5th, just to kind of get a feel for what they would consider, if they would consider a farmer's market. And my question was to look at Ted Williams Camp and/or Dicker and Dyron Park, which both fall under their jurisdiction. I thought they were really supportive. I thought that they were
Yeah, they seemed.
really
They seemed
interested.
excited about the idea of having a farmer's market there at Ted Williams.
Yeah.
And the beautiful part about Ted Williams is that you have parking and you have restrooms right there.
Right there.
With sinks.
And you have the town that goes there for soccer, baseball, softball.
Right.
There's volleyball and the horseshoe, and once word spreads that we have a set time and location there.
They even, the
Right.
Park Commission even said they would advertise the farmer's market on the signs at both entrances.
Yeah.
So they were pretty excited about the idea.
And then they said if they had to put something else on the sign, like the triple E threat kind of thing, that we could put up on the day of the market, we could put a freestanding sign of our own out by the street so people would know, because if it's at the Ted Williams grounds, it's not going to be visible from the street, which was why we're thinking about Dicker and Dyron as well, but Dicker and Dyron doesn't have toilet facilities, and parking's an issue. We'd have to work maybe with the church if they would be willing to open up their space for us to use.
And we'd have to hire a police detail for walking back and forth.
If I understand correctly, we wouldn't need one if it was just at Dicker and Dyron, only if it was up at the old town hall to get across Precinct Street,
Right.
but not across that little lane in front of the church.
That's true. Yeah, if nobody was crossing.
Yeah.
I guess if a number of people were parking at the old town hall and then walking across,
That would be an issue.
that would be an issue.
Would be an
Yeah.
issue.
And police detail is a minimum of 8 hours at $50 an hour, so
Yeah. we
kind of
probably need to make that
prohibitive
on a-
for us. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna say, the other question is too on vendors. I know some farmers markets don't like to have, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Like retail vendors, bringing products in and selling the actual products. It's not something that's handmade, but
Oh,
factory
yeah.
made.
Right.
I did actually stop in at a couple of shops. My daughter was actually picking something up, and I stopped in, and it's right inside, it used to be the Cool Moose. It's a nice little place in there. She's got a lot of soaps and honey and stuff like that, and I got talking to her, and she's actually interested in having a spot.
Oh, that's
Right.
nice, she's a really nice
So-
lady.
I guess we have to decide if we want retail vendors as well, but me personally, I'm not against.
I think as long as it's like local,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and those type of products, the honey and that kind of stuff, the soaps and stuff. And the other big question is too, is this something we want to manage ourselves? Or do we want to look for a manager?
You have an audience member that would like to be recognized.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Crystal Ing, I
Oh,
was
hi,
supposed to be
Crystal.
here earlier, sorry. My question is, like I do a lot of different fairs and stuff, do you mean kind of like someone selling Avon? Because I know there's been like, when I've done fairs, vendor fairs, and it's not handmade and it's someone selling like Avon, people get really upset. As opposed to if you're doing a farmer's market, it has to be handmade or homemade or something, all natural products.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're discussing now, whether we should allow it or not. And then, like in the case of the woman that's got that little store down there, she said she'd be interested, but her products are like candles and soaps, handmade soaps, and not handmade by her,
No.
but, and local honey.
Yeah.
So we'd have to, I don't know, discuss on whether we'd actually
Right.
allow that or not.
how to regulate it.
Yeah, and I know in the list that Karen had provided us, there were at least 2 local soap makers,
Yeah,
But I don't have
opposite sides.
I don't have a bee farmer that is in the list either, but there are folks around that
Right.
could be. So,
I think somebody middlemaning artisan products is a little bit different than somebody that's selling products that they're buying from a large wholesaler direct. I think you could probably write something that you would stipulate that you would prefer handmade products and things like that. Maybe not specify that they have to be handmade by you, but if you were the type of person that wanted to talk to a bunch of smaller soap vendors that didn't maybe have the ability to attend these markets and you were gonna hawk their products, I wouldn't think we would have an issue with that. But again, going for the handmade artisan type of product in lieu of, well, I get these things off Amazon and I'm hoping to make a buck.
Right.
Yeah, in Karen's rules and regulations, her membership, which is the vendor membership, is open to farmers, greenhouse growers, herbalists, artists, and crafters. So she was going with that same idea, I think. But I agree with what Paul just said, too.
Yeah. I like handmade.
Yep,
That makes,
so I'll incorporate that.
but the-
So would the next step maybe be if the decision was made to focus on the Ted Williams camp, maybe see what day of the week would work for them? They're gonna know their agenda, and maybe something can come, might be able to work something out that
yeah.
they maybe have a little more space here, or a lower volume day as far as activities.
Yeah, something that they advised us against, they recommended against, say, weekend afternoons, because the lodge is often used for functions,
Or weddings.
in weddings and things like that, so a lot of the parking can be taken up in that space. And when we spoke with them, we were talking about, I was mentioning that field that's pretty much right across from the lodge, where the flagpole is, there's some open space, there's the little bathroom building. But they were open to the idea of it could be pretty much any place, we name the space you need kind of thing, but I think that's probably the largest area that isn't already spoken for being an outfield or a soccer game or
Right.
something like
Yeah.
that. So they did recommend against that, but that doesn't mean we couldn't have a farmer's market from 10 to 1 on a Saturday or something. And what was another thing that they said? And this lists just a few other things. They could not, when I asked about insurance requirements, they didn't know offhand what those would be, so I contacted the Lakeville Town Coordinator, and she's asked the town administrator, and they're just trying to figure out what it would be that we would need for insurance coverage. And what that-
In my discussions with the building commissioner, he believed that we would fall under the town blanket of insurance, and if we remained on town property, we would not need a different policy.
Yeah.
And that was one of the concerns when we started talking about some of the other possible venues, was that then we would have to pick up insurance because the town's insurance would not cover us anywhere else.
So, I don't know if there's anything else that,
Yeah, just, like my earlier question, is this something we want to manage, or see if we can find?
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, see if we can find someone to manage it. I mean, it's all depending on how much time people have and how much interest.
It can be a big job, I think.
Yeah, I think it probably could be.
I think you're right.
How would we go about looking for a manager?
I don't know, I was hoping Karen was interested, but she definitely
No,
said she's not.
She's
Does she have
not.
any ideas for managers? Does she know anybody, do you think?
I'll ask her.
She knows a lot of people.
She knows a lot of people.
And she's not afraid to call them either.
I mean, I don't know what the, far as what they're charged to manage,
Right, that's another thing to look into that might decide it for us.
right? Or if it, well, I imagine that the what they charge for the 15 by 15 foot location per person would cover the managing of it.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know
has
if
to
there's
cover
any
the
other,
expenses.
any other fees or that a manager would charge or. The one upside of the AgCom managing it is that we'd actually make some money to put into our budget so we can actually afford to buy stamps and stuff. So, but that's a big undertaking.
It is. And I don't mind helping, but I don't really know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't think,
Well, it's like a big commitment, so it's like, I don't mind helping either, but I don't want to
But-
commit to something like that. I
Yeah,
just,
it's a
two
job.
kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure Karen probably didn't know until she got started too. So,
Now she's a wonderful resource for us.
yes, she is. So are there any more comments or questions we got in the farmer's market?
CMAC people might know some folks who would do that or have experience.
Yeah, I think they probably, I gotta look at their public, they have a publication,
Yeah,
and might be able to find some information on the contact
yeah.
to get more
I was
information
thinking
from
I'll
them.
look through that and check with Karen.
Right, thanks, Cindy. All right, moving on. So this one was actually Hank's that he brought up to me. He wanted to support and encourage agriculture within the town in ways we can actually do that. Unfortunately, Hank's not here, so we can probably table this one until the next meeting when Hank's here. I can put that on next month's agenda. All right, the AgCom funding and expenses.
Our account at Eastern Bank through May, June, and July remains the same at $110.
That must have been seed money.
At one point, I had asked Rita about funding for the AgCom, and she said to approach the FinCom and ask if they would be willing to set up a particular amount for the AgCom since it's a town commission. So I think that would be the next step for us to say, you know, could we have a budget since we have a town committee? And we're trying to do things, but we don't have any money to do anything with. And we can't raise any money if we don't have any money to really start out with.
Right.
So maybe we need to ask the finance committee if we could actually have a budget of some sort.
Thank you, John.
Could you ask the state for money?
Don't believe the state would provide money for a town.
You know, just,
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. All right, is any more comments on that? You all set? And the other, last thing is, any other business that anybody wants to bring up?
The 4-H is tax sale.
Oh, yeah.
When is that, Saturday?
This, actually, this Saturday.
Do you remember the hours? 10 to 2 maybe?
Yeah, I think it's 10 to 2. And
I know they got quite a bit of tack to get rid of.
I was actually very surprised at how much was donated to the club. There's a lot.
Nice.
Do you think we can, don't we have a Facebook thing, a webpage or something? Think we can put that on there?
It's up there, it's been going around
Yeah.
actually, on a couple websites. They also posted it on the Southeast Trailblazers a couple of the local
Okay.
sites, so it's been floating around.
Yeah.
I think that's why they got so
farming.
much tack.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right, from the Gazette, can't you chuck that in there?
No.
Isn't he,
No,
what's,
Bob.
is he Gazette? No.
The Frog Gazette, yep.
Front page, maybe?
It's called the Flying Hook, Lakeville Flying
For
Hook Sports Club.
Yeah, for Thursday.
What's the date?
Whatever Saturday
This
is.
Saturday,
I'll look it
10 to
up
2
right
at the old town hall in Lakeville.
That's true.
They actually have other vendors that are joining them too within the old
Oh, do
town
they?
hall. Yeah, I know Nancy's been working with a few people, but I'm not exactly sure what she has lined up. And if anybody wants any hardware, Plimpton Tractor Supply donated boxes and boxes of hardware.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, everything from hinges to door bolts to everything you need for, building a new barn.
Good for them.
So,
That's nice.
There you go.
And the last thing, we have Crystal in the audience. Crystal has expressed an interest in joining the Ag Commission. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've lived here for about 20 years. I think a couple of my roosters have come before the Agricultural Commission. Right now, we're holding strong at, I think, 5 roosters and no complaints. We do have a lot of animals. My husband has bees, so we have 2 hives, going to have more eventually. I just think this is a really good idea. I've done a bunch of different farmers markets around. I certainly wouldn't mind helping to run it. I think when you said hiring a manager, I think that would just take money away. That could obviously be used for the $100 bank account. I am also the CPAC chair for Freetown Lakeville, so apparently I like to volunteer for things. What else is that?
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
What was your name again?
Crystal Ng. NG.
NG.
And the 4-H is August 24th from 9 to 2.
9 to 2.
We're close.
Yeah.
We're getting kind of set up.
I couldn't remember, I was disagreeing with you, Jerry. All right, well, I think that's everything. All right.
So what goes on with Crystal?
I will be contacting Crystal, I got her contact information. So-
Did you guys vote to approve these?
For March and
March and April.
April. I forgot all about that. Did everybody read them?
Sure.
Yeah, here, a motion to approve March and April's minutes.
I make a motion to accept March and April's minutes.
Second.
Everybody say aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Hi. Yeah.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
All right, so I think we're done with the meeting. Yeah, motion to end the meeting?
I move to end the meeting, adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
What's the time?
It is 7:33.